come over here. Let's have a talk. Emotions can actually cost you a lot of money. I think one of the essential skills that you need to be your best as far as business, career, whatever it is to absolutely get your emotions under control. And this applies to so many different scenarios. For example, I work in investment banking, and when you look at things like investing in the stock market or commodities, whatever it is, emotions are a huge liability. I'll give you an example. I actually did some trading last year with cryptocurrencies, and I did very, very well. I had a target price which I wanted to jump in on, which was about 3,000, and I did an analysis based on the last boom that we saw, and my target price was about 8,000 because I knew it wasn't going to be as big as the last time. The question was, how much lower would it peak at compared to the last time? I was on the pessimistic side. I felt it was going to have a lot of growth relative to the bottom of 3,000, which I was pretty close to. It was going to have a lot of growth, but certainly nowhere near the last time. Right? A lot of people lost a lot of money, and a lot of the reasons why they lost money is because of, again, lack of control of emotions. So I think my target of 8,000 was putting it at half. So I was saying it was only going to go half as far as it went the last time. That ended up being a very, very good estimate. I think to really maximize, what crypto did this time around, or Bitcoin specifically, maybe 11,000 or 12,000 or something like that. But 8,000 was a good solid number, where it certainly hit 8,000 for sure, and even went much beyond. But if you had ridden it to 8,000 and pulled your money out like I did, you would have done pretty well. However, it kept rising, and it went to like 85 or 9,000 and higher, and I was done. Right? I was doing it the right way, following my system, disconnecting the emotion. Right? I don't care how high it's going. It's not going to go as high as the last time, pretty much, and you've decided on your exit price. You've reached your exit price. You're done. Don't care about what's happening or how high it's going and people are making all this money. You made a lot of money. You're done. But no, people kept messaging me about Bitcoin, what's happening with Bitcoin, and I dismissed it until I didn't. I looked at it like, man, this thing is still going. And unfortunately, that's where the emotion got caught up. That emotion of, I'm missing out. And that was the only real downside. I was doing perfectly fine when I was just being logical. Right? Jump in. Here's my target price to get in. Here's my exit price to get out. Right? I did it. Got in, got out when I said I was. Good profits. But now I'm making a decision not based on logic and analysis of my strategy. I'm making it based on emotion. And that's where I took a hit. Now, I never invest more money than I'm willing to lose. So it didn't, of course, hurt me. But a lot of my gains I lost because I jumped into that frenzy at the end. I didn't stick to my guns. You've got to stick to your guns. When you're dealing with stocks, you want to stick to your guns and leave the emotion at home. But let me give you another scenario that definitely applies to each and every one of you. Whether you decide to go the corporate route in terms of your career, or you go the entrepreneurial route and then you're dealing with your own team and your staff and things like that. Again, the emotion. So whether you're working at a company or you're running your own business, you're going to have to really work on your people skills. And this has certainly been an asset for me, absolutely. I'm the guy that generally gets along with everyone. Nothing's perfect. There's going to be people that you have issues with, but generally speaking, I get along with everyone. I'm a team player. And it's not that I'm special, but a lot of it's my approach. I mean, certainly I have an energetic personality, and that certainly helps. Good sense of humor, but that really wouldn't do me much if it was not for also that logical side of me. I'm mostly guided by logic and science, and just very methodical type of person. And as a result, I have been pretty good at we'll call it relationship management, whether it's from an entrepreneurial level or it's from a corporate level as far as career. And there's a lot of different things that I do, but I can go over some of the basics. So first of all, there is and this is something that I had to grow towards, or it came from life experiences and maturity that comes with time. But one of the major things that I sort of figured out about people, or about social behavior of humans, is I think a lot of us get caught up in our own personal lives and thinking about me, right? You are a product of your experiences and your background, and you focus, you live inside your head in terms of what you want and what your goals are and what you're trying to do and what upsets you and what you like, what you don't like. A lot of us can be very ego driven, and that's not, it's a lot of that's just human nature, so don't feel bad about that. We all have some of that in us, right? But one of the really amazing things of the human experience is we actually have a lot of control over who we are and how we think, how we behave. You have the ability to really mold yourself. Never get in the mindset of this limiting mindset where you think that you're just who you are. You're always going to be this way, and you focus on what the negatives are. Always realize that you are organic. You are malleable. You have the ability to change the way you think. You have the ability to change yourself. You have the ability to be a better version of yourself, and to constantly seek to be a better version of yourself. So this brings up a point that I think a lot of people are missing, which is a lot of people, again, focus very outwardly, what you want from your perspective, right? But I've spent a lot of time over the years doing self-reflection. So looking inward at myself and what my assets are, what my weaknesses are. And I try to improve myself and to grow and to be a better person. And through doing that, I'm able to identify certain issues. So, for example, one thing that I've recognized is that you never know where people are coming from, what their backgrounds are, what their experiences are. So, number one, like we said, control your emotions. You have someone at work who's really annoying, who seems that they're super selfish and they're putting people under the bus, or whatever sort of behavior that you regard as being hostile, right? Be very, very wary of judging people, right? You don't know where people are coming from. You don't know their background, their experiences. You have a boss who's a jerk, right? And you hyper focus on the idea that your boss is a jerk. And because you do that, you may never realize that perhaps there's a reason behind that. Generally speaking, the way that people behave, there's reasons behind it, right? And without even considering that, you lack the context. And context is key. For example, you could have a coworker who is very insecure, right? And because they're insecure, one of the sort of mechanisms that they've developed to sort of protect themselves is they like to point out the flaws of others, right? And you're looking at it just being a jerk. This person's always throwing people under the bus. They're horrible person, right? That's your perspective. So as a result, you treat them in a very negative manner. They're a jerk. They don't deserve your respect, right? And all you're doing is you're making it worse. They're being hostile. They're being abrasive. You're being abrasive as well, responding to their abrasiveness, right? The end result is two abrasive people butting heads. How do you be successful? How do you accomplish your goals? You want to be successful. You want to make that money. You need to be able to be productive, efficient, results driven. What kind of results can you drive when you're just sitting there butting heads with someone, right? And no work environment is going to be perfect. No entrepreneurial team or partnership is going to be perfect, right? So you're going to need to be able to disconnect from your emotions, not completely. Don't be psychotic or anything, but you need to be able to disconnect from your emotions. Focus on the facts at hand, right? This person is behaving in a certain way. Why are they behaving that way? If you spend the time to actually think like that, maybe you can figure it out and just observe what they're doing. What is the pattern? What's the theme? What's it all about? It seems like they're always trying to make people, like looking down to people or making people look bad. Like, you don't even know that? How could you not know that? Right? But if you're so defensive that you're just looking to like attack them back, you may not realize that this person actually perhaps feels inferior to you and to others. So it's not that they don't like you or they're trying to be a jerk, but they feel intimidated by you, right? They may feel that you're smarter than them. So to compensate for that, they try to make you look like you're lesser than you are. But you getting into that and butting heads accomplishes nothing. Again, if you step back and observe, right, focus on logic, right, not the emotion, you can be able to observe this pattern in behavior, come up with an assessment in terms of why they're behaving that way, and then you can come up with a plan about how you can address the issue. So in that particular case, this person is insecure. So how can I help them so that they can, through my actions, they can change their behavior to where it's something that is more conducive to teamwork and to collaborative work, right? In that case, what I might do is I might seek to address the problem, which is the lack of confidence. So how can I help this person to feel more confident? So for example, you can take the time to identify what the positives are with this person. What are the things that they're good at? And make sure that every opportunity possible, without overdoing it, of course, you make the effort to acknowledge and recognize their skill sets, their assets, what they bring to the table, right? Let them know that you recognize and appreciate their knowledge and their skill sets, whatever they bring to the table, right? Because by doing that, you can sort of de-escalate, let them feel less intimidated, let them feel more comfortable, then they can simmer down, right? That's only part of it. The other part of it is also relationship building. So getting a mutual respect. The person does something that helps you, you say thank you, you let them know how much you appreciate their help. You can publicly compliment them. So in a corporation, sending an email, copying their manager or people like that and saying, hey, I really appreciated what you did. That really helped out a lot. That kind of thing, right? That's relationship building. So on one hand, you're addressing their insecurities that you only would have picked up on this if you had taken the time to step back, not be emotional, observe, look for patterns, come up with an assessment of why they're behaving a certain way. That was a key thing what you started with, recognizing that if someone's behaving in a certain way that's negative, there's probably a reason behind it. If you can figure out what that reason is, then you can address the issue. In this case, it's an insecurity thing, so you do things to let them feel more confident, and also you do things to relationship build, which again, like I said, the compliments, the recognition, and things like that. Now, most people wouldn't take that approach. They take a negative approach. That person's just a jerk. So again, you're butting heads. So you're never going to accomplish anything positive. You're never going to, and they're going to continue to be this jerk. They're going to continue to be sort of a weight, right? This sort of ball and chain, or whatever, for lack of a better way of describing it. They're going to continue to be a liability, right? But if you want to be successful, you have to develop a successful way or mentality or approach to things, right? The average way, or the failure way, again, is to butt the heads. The successful way is to always look at things from a perspective of taking accountability, taking ownership. I think in some ways, always think of yourself as the CEO. So you working at a company, you could be at the lowest level of job, but taking on a perspective of being the CEO, which is, these are kind of things that a CEO might do, right? You have to have a leadership sort of mentality, right? You have to lead your mid-level managers. You have to lead your company, right? You have to sort of foster a positive environment and get people motivated and excited about the business. That's leadership, right? And even if you're not in a leadership role, taking on a leadership perspective without going too far to where you're like, okay, who does this guy think he is? You think you're my boss? Like, no. You got to be very, very strategic about it. But taking on that leadership management, that leadership mentality, that is one of the many elements. Remember, 68 steps to success, right? One of the many elements that can lead to your success, because by you having a manager attitude, a leadership attitude, that can be recognized in the right environment and can actually lead you to actually becoming a leader. When they're looking to promote someone and they look at the team and everyone's being average, everyone's following along, everyone's just doing their job, and there is you, the one who takes ownership, the one who takes leadership, the one who looks at how can we as a team be a better team? How can this team help the company be a better company? Now, you could be at a bad company in a bad environment where you could do this all you want and you're not going to get anywhere. And at that point, maybe it's time to look for another job somewhere else. But in most cases, if you're in any kind of company that's doing well, these are the kinds of things that you can do that can actually lead to success. Because once again, if they're looking among the team who they're going to promote, if you are the one that has demonstrated your leadership skills, your team building, all that kind of stuff, you know, it's like a no-brainer. Who's going to be the next manager? Of course, it's going to be you. You're already behaving like a manager. You're already showing that you have manager abilities, right? And you may look at this as a small step, but we all start somewhere. I mean, at one point in time, I was working in a laptop store, selling laptops, making probably less than $20,000 a year, right? $575 a month. Apartment in East Boston, not the best neighborhood. Trust me on that one. I remember running home one night. Somebody was following me. Yeah. Interesting times. But again, we all start somewhere, right? I started there, and through my attitude, through my mindset, I was able to grow. And I'll tell you some stuff that I did in that job where I actually got recognition from the managers. And I'm like late teens, 19 or something like that, and I already have the owners of the company recognizing who I am and what I'm about because of mindset and attitude, right? Emotions are very, very expensive. You've really got to learn how to control them. There's many books out there. If it's something that you struggle with, get the books. But you really got to be able to have control, because you get to the point where you want to be a manager, you want to be starting your own corporation, be a CEO. You need to be able to do what needs to be done. And I'm not saying where you're gonna be heartless or whatever, but there is a certain level where you need to shut off the emotions and be able to focus on the task at hand, and focus on the facts of the matter, right? Don't worry about your feelings and such. That's not what it's about. Control your emotions. When you're buying things in a store, right? You go into a store and a salesman tries to push you into buying something. You got to buy it. It's only today, or whatever, right? And you get caught up in it, and they're aware of how expensive emotions are. They're aware of the weakness that we have as humans with our emotions. And I'm not saying emotions are totally a weakness. Again, not gonna be a psychopath here, but emotions can be very dangerous. Like you've got to have your emotions, but have them in check, have them in control, right? Like, if you're in a burning car, certainly embrace the emotions of, I've got to get the hell out of here, I'm gonna die, right? That's totally appropriate. But if you're dealing in a situation where maybe you just have a coworker that's got a bad attitude, that's not the end of the world. The car's not on fire. Relax, breathe. It's not ideal to have someone like that in the office, but the car's not on fire. You're not about to die, so relax. You see how it works? There's a time and place to embrace the emotions, right? When you're dealing with matters of love, your significant other, certainly embrace the feelings of love and passion and let them know how you feel. Great. Cars on fire? Absolutely. You have a deadline that's 2 hours away? Absolutely. Embrace the emotion of, I gotta get this done. But even in that case, if you get too emotional because you get into the frenzy of like, I gotta get this done, and all you're focusing on is you have no time, are you going to really be delivering your best work? So even in that case, it's like you need to stop and, okay, I have 2 hours. What do I need to do to get this done and meet my deadline? Are there certain things that I need to eliminate? Like, I can't really do 5 things in the time allotted. So I need to prioritize and maybe eliminate 1 or 2 things, right? You may not figure this sort of strategic things out if you're too in the emotion of like, I gotta get this done, right? Really, I hope that this video is helpful to you guys. There's so many levels of depth to this conversation, and it's not cookie cutter, it's not black and white. But I hope you get the fundamentals of what I'm trying to convey. I think this topic is several episodes, not just one video that runs on too long. I guess I'll end on this note. Jealousy, envy, anger, disdain, all this stuff, these are not things that help you achieve your goals. You want to be successful in your career, in your business objectives. Those kind of emotions aren't going to really help you, right? Unless you're utilizing a technique I'm going to talk about in another video, where you can look at all emotions as forms of energy, and certain emotions have more energy, and energy is something like, imagine a battery. I can take a loose battery and I can connect it to a light bulb and light it up like I used to do as a kid. Or I can take that same battery and connect it to some kind of a horn, and you hear the horn honk, right? I can connect that same battery to many different devices, and have those different devices, which are completely unrelated, have them draw this energy and use them for whatever they need. If you look at emotions as energy, just like that battery, you can choose what you connect it to. You can connect your energy to things that are not conducive. So, for example, you have something that is frustrating you. Maybe someone is putting you down and it's upsetting you, right? That's your battery. The upset feeling, the frustration feeling. You can connect it to you just being miserable, right? And you trying to get back at someone and all that kind of stuff, which doesn't, that's you connecting your battery to something that's not really conducive, right? Or you can choose to take that energy and apply it towards something that requires energy. For example, many things that you need to do to be successful, the hard work, the picking up new skills, so much things, right? They all require effort, and effort feeds from energy, right? So you can take that energy of that frustration and convert it or connect it to this task that you need to get done, and actually use that anger and frustration to fuel you to something else, right? Because again, it's just energy. Like, you have that pent up, like, oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, and then you can take time, breathe, focus, okay, and you feel that energy of, like, you want to just do something, say something, whatever. All that energy, just channel it towards, you know what? I'm so frustrated right now. I am going to just go hardcore with this specific task that I need to accomplish, and I'm just going to just go above and beyond, right? I'm going to funnel all that energy into something that's productive, right? Anyway, I've talked long enough. This is Carlisle's Picks, and on this episode, the code word is energy. Thanks for watching. Click on the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And make sure you smash that bell. And this is one of the many steps, the 68 steps to success, that I'm going to give right here on this channel for free. Because I don't need your money. What I want to see is for you to succeed. I want all of you guys to achieve your dreams. I want you to live your best life. Right? And that's why I'm doing this here as my gift to you guys. Not just to my subscribers, but to the world. Alright, guys.